See it? Okay, YouTubers, here's my rundown of the junk I've owned over my 53 years. I'm 53? Yes or no? Okay. That's my tripod of the evening. Beautiful Marianne. My camera woman, too. This is an old tattered note showing some of the things I've had through the years. I think it started back in the 1800s when I was born, and then the last entry was probably 1981. So there's a lot of grease went under the floorboard since then. And I've got here a bunch of some of the cars that I've had, and trucks and underwear and all that other stuff. Here is a picture of me and my buddy James Fountain, the best man on the planet, at a motel in Fort Worth, Texas. We used to go to Pate, Texas, and do that big swap meet. We flew in like important people and rented this little car, which is a little Fairmont Ford something or other, not much of a car. Anyway, our room is right above where the car is parked on the second level, and that night the guy sold our room again to a bunch of drunks, and I was sleeping in the floor because I'm homophobic. We had one bed, and I don't know what I am now. Anyway, these drunks come in on us, had the key in hand. They just come in the door, and it scared me so much I fought and kicked and slammed and throwed them out. They went over the balcony here and landed on somebody's truck, and we wasn't bothered anymore. And James was probably afraid to go back to sleep, afraid I'd throw him out the door. But anyway, that was a trip there. When I have cars, my mentality, or lack of mentality, is to have a whole bunch of them instead of having just one good one. So I had a whole bunch of crappy ones instead of one good one. And here's the first car I had, 67 Mustang, little 289 automatic stuff. That's me in it trying to get some rubber out of it, or spinning on some loose gravel anyway. Got this for my graduation present. Graduation from junior high school, of course. Never did graduate anywhere else. And they gave this to me, Mom and Pa, and then within a week, Dad says, when are you going to pay for that car? So I got a job and quit high school and got a job, and I've been working ever since, and I paid for the car. This is a Mustang. It was made for import, and it was sent to Germany to one of our soldiers back then, and instead of having it say Mustang, they named it a T5, which is the project number of whenever they designed the Mustang in the first place back in the 60s. This is a 67 T5 Mustang. I owned this thing 4 times back and forth. I'd still buy it if I knew where it was. Here it is after I sold it the first time. I bought it back. It was stripped and wrecked and thumped. And I bought it back and made it pretty again, then sold it 2 more times. Talking about having a yard full of junkers instead of one good one, here's just 3 of the ones. I think I had 7 at that time. That was here. And this one with the hardwood hood scoop is a 6-cylinder. Weak. But I drove it to work, and everybody wanted to race me, and they'd peel out and stuff, and I'd just go chug, and take off. Just because it had that hardwood hood scoop, I reckon. And, I used to think that I'd park it out by the road, I'd get mail in that scoop. Okay, then, let's see, I bought a new Ford truck in '78. And there it is, it's a 79 F100. And I drove it for 11 years, 200-something thousand miles on it. I still got it. A tree fell on it here the other day and mashed it to smithereens, but I still got it. And anyway, that's it. 11 years later, I bought this one. Oh, the 79 back in 78 cost $2,400. This one here cost about 3 times that much, maybe 4 times that much. It was very expensive. I still got the window sticker somewhere here. But this one lasted 10 years. It got 285,000 on it, and then my wife at the time drove it without no oil, and it locked up and screeched the tires, and I went in there and put 5 quarts of oil in it, got it broke loose, and she drove it on home. And then the next very week, she drove it without water. It didn't last after that. Now it runs, but it just kind of puffs blue smoke everywhere. It's real weak. Anyway, still got that one out in the field. I've had, here's my 49 coupe, 2-door coupe that I messed with for about 10 years. And I had a bunch of Torinos. This yellow 70 GT, I called it the Banana Sunday because it's long and ugly and banana shaped. And I bought it on Sunday. Here's the one that I had for a long time, a little white GT Torino. This is the one I jumped over the canal in Cordova, Illinois. It didn't last too long after I jumped the canal. It was a pretty good feat though, but it got home. Banana Sunday. Here's my 69 Cobra Jet. I love dearly. Sold it to get married. Oh boy, let's back up on that one. This is the guy that bought it brand new's house. I tricked him out of it. See the little snakes and stuff on it snacking around. Had a 428 drag pack 4-speed and stuff. Here it is after I played with it. So it was a wonderful car. And there it is again. And here's another old Torino I had. This Torino was real quiet and real easy drove and slick. And I didn't like it because it was like a grandma car. I was used to, having difficulty driving. Okay, non-Fords, GTX, killer car. Had that slapstick automatic that you had to steer like a spoon to try and get a gear. Mercury. Oh crap, I forgot what these are called. Caliente. It had a V8 and a 3-speed in it. I've owned lots of these 55, 56 Fords. That one I built. This poor thing here had the bad idea, had the distinction of having a crown glass top. 56 crown glass top, which is rare and expensive. So we cut the top off and put it on a good car, and then I built this one as a 2-door hardtop. I welded the top on it, put the glass and stuff in it. Here's a 2-door post. The only ones that don't leak, the hardtops leak where the windows are. These have got better seals on them and they don't leak, so the bodies are better and the floorboards are better. Beautiful little car. Here's another one. This one I didn't have to put together. I just bought like this and then I went to fixing it up. Found out later that they stuck the chrome on it, or the stainless, with body putty. They just crammed it on there with body putty under it. I had to fix that. That was goofy. Here it is at the place where I used to work, James' garage, bless his heart. Drove it back and forth, went up the mountains, and my windshield wipers would quit, but I figured out how to fix that. Here it is there. There's the other side of that old 56. Here's the car that we completed. We put the crown top on this one, and it has a glass front, or plexiglass front area where you can look up and see the world, and a zip-in headliner to keep the heat off of you. It's pretty neat. This car was a high-dollar car when we got done with it, and I don't know how much it's worth now. It went to some rich guy's impound, and here's what come off of it. Okay, let's see. Mustangs, Torinos. Went to the Torinos. Here's the Jeeps. I got like 500 Jeep things. Here's Jeeps from whence. Here's a gaggle of Jeeps at the shop. Here's a bunch of Jeeps that I stacked up in the yard. I was all the time climbing Jeeps on top of Jeeps since I had a ton of them. That's my crazy neighbor. Here's some more of the different same ones. That's the M38A1 that I restored. And there's a Jeep that I restored. It was pretty rusty. Here's my first M715 that I built. It's a postcard. It went to some kind of a museum in California. General Patton's museum. It went there. But unbeknownst to them, this has got a fuel injection engine out of a Ford truck with the big transmission stuff in it, all the fuel injection good stuff in it, and a 2-speed transfer case and things. Here's my other Jeep that I had. The neighbor, I let him borrow it for about 8 years. I had to go get it. He traded it off, and I had to go get it. Here's a MB, an early model. It's a Willis script tub, and it's on top of another M715 that I was building. And I put power steering on this thing, believe it or not. Power steering, electronic ignition. It still had the little 134 4-cylinder in it, but it was a pretty neat Jeep. There it is. And there's some more Army trucks. I had a ton of them. Here's a little yellow CJ5 that I built and sold. Here's a Ford Control FC170 Jeep. Had a snowplow on the front, and it went to some people up in Branson, and they cleaned off parking lots with it. It's a wonderful little 6-cylinder flathead. Here's Cloudy again. Cloudy, and then one of my 715s, which I still have one. I figured out, outside of that number, it was over 100 there. I've had close to 17 Jeeps, 7 Fairlanes, 21 Mustangs, 9 Galaxies, 64 and 63s, 11 55s and 56. I've had 27 trucks, GTXs, Plymouth Roadrunners, GTO Pontiacs, Dodge vans, Chevrolet pickups, and all sorts of other stuff. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Each one's got a story to it, and but I haven't got enough tape to show it. But someday when the snow is blowing, I'll come back around on these things, and or somebody can ask me a question about stuff, and I'll let you know. I'll tell you everything I know, which won't take long. Okay, I love yous, and y'all have a good evening. Bye.